Hello and welcome to the Clean Energy Show, episode number 10. My name is Brian Stockton.
And I'm James Whittingham here in Regina, Saskatchewan. Surprised as anything that we've reached double digits. Congratulations to you, Brian. There will not be a trophy, no plaque, no bouquet.
What? There's no trophy?
No, social distancing has prevented me from giving a gift, the double-digit podcast co-host traditional gift.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll continue anyway. But yeah, 10 episodes. We've been doing this for 10 weeks.
And the world has gone slightly downhill in that 10 weeks. My God, everything was fine, and now it's the apocalypse. I blame you.
Uh-huh.
Mostly you.
So I want to talk about your recording setup. So as the last, 3 episodes, we're recording in separate locations. And I know that you ran into some technical difficulties this morning, so we had to abandon our recording this morning. And so now you've got some kind of a jury-rigged system to record with there?
No, it's a backup system. It's recording normally, but my audio interface keeps losing USB connection, and there's no good reason for it. I'm very discouraged. Yeah, I thought, well, maybe I'll replace the USB cable because it's kind of cheap. And Amazon is shipping like 4 or 5 weeks for a USB cable that would normally come in a day, because USB cables are not priority, even though it is podcasters like us who are keeping the world going. And we need our equipment. It was either that or go to Staples and spend $25 for their USB cable, which is basically a printer cable.
So you're pretty sure that it's the Windows operating system that's giving you the problems?
Yes, it keeps losing connection with the... it keeps dropping out. And then there's things you can go into. There's power settings, like do not put this thing to sleep. And I've done that. I've deleted the drivers and you just, I don't know. It just, the problem is I don't have a dedicated computer for recording podcasts. I tried, but I broke it.
Yeah.
So, and I don't have the money to just go out and buy another computer just for podcasting. But if I had a computer for podcasting, we wouldn't have these problems. It would just be set up and ready to go, and I would turn it on and start talking.
Here's a crazy idea. What if you installed Linux on that machine, and when you need to record audio, you boot into Linux?
That's getting complicated. I'm hoping to not complicate things. I've spent too much of my life dealing with computers, and my hope, of course, is not to have to deal with that crap anymore and have a dual boot up operating system. Are you kidding me? I don't want to do that.
I'm just trying to solve your problem.
I know you are, and you're noble for doing that, but Brian, it's a pandemic, and I got a short fuse now. I can't deal with it anymore. My family is here all the time. I don't go anywhere. There's nothing to do. It's cold out. I took the e-bike out yesterday, froze my testicles off because I didn't have enough testicle covering.
Yeah, I did want to ask you about that. I'm assuming you got out on your e-bike.
Not very much. My son finally took it out. He's 16. He comes back and he says, "Yeah, I love it." And he was laughing and giggling and screaming. And he says, "No, I didn't use my legs, so not very much." But I come back and my heart's pounding, and you can tell my arteries have been declogged slightly, and my legs are sore. And even though I haven't, we're not talking a major athletic accomplishment, I'm incredibly out of shape, especially at the beginning of bicycling season where those legs are not used in that fashion. So I have been using my legs. I have been going up hills and running out of breath and probably going to have a heart attack one of these days. So yeah, I use it. It's fun. One thing, I wanted to mention, and I do have a list here of things to mention that I wrote on paper because I can't trust computers anymore.
Yeah.
And that is that some e-bikes, because you were looking at an e-bike, come with only the back gears. So they don't have, like, say, they might have 7 at the back or 8 or 9 at the back. They don't have those 3 gears at the front.
Right.
I'm here to tell you from my limited experience that it's very important to have those front gears because I'm like using one of the most harder gears on the bike. Like I'm in the 3rd biggest, the biggest chain wheel at the front on the hardest setting most of the time. Then I hit a hill and I go to the easiest setting or one of the easiest settings. So I'm going back and forth. I'm using those gears. They are important. I can't imagine, unless there's something I'm missing, the way that the ratio is on those gears on bikes that don't have the front derailleur, but you would not, your motor would be going more than you would, and you wouldn't be able to do anything the way I see it.
Yeah. So I did want to ask you about power and stuff, because of course I'm still looking at it, getting an e-bike or a conversion kit. Still thinking about that switch kit that we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I like that one is it seems to be quite light and quite small. Like the smallest one's only 3 kilograms for everything, the battery and the motor and everything.
Really?
Yep, 3 kilograms, and but it's only 250 watts. So I wanted to ask you, how many watts is yours, and how much power does one really need?
Good question. I've been reading up on this. I'm not an expert, but you have your 36 volt systems and your 48 volt systems, I believe, depending on the number of batteries you have.
Mm-hmm.
So the wattage of the motor apparently doesn't matter that much. Most people will use a 250 watt motor and be perfectly happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, part of my literature claims it's 250. Like I've read 250 places, and they may have different motors for different markets. So that's part of the problem. Officially, mine is 350, although I have read that it's 250. So I think the 250 is perfectly fine, especially if you're not a fat ass son of a bitch like myself, because you should be able to get around just fine. And it's kind of like peak motor capacity is what we're talking about here. It's how long can it go at a peak short burst, a short duration. So
yeah,
I don't think it matters that much.
And they do have to sort of tune them, like with the software, limit it depending on the market, because there's different rules in different countries for how much wattage is allowed, I guess, before you need a motorcycle license.
That's kind of the ironic thing, because they would limit you to 500 watts. I read an article. The question was, why is my 500 watt motor less powerful than my 250 watt motor? And I can't articulate exactly why that is, but it doesn't matter, because you might even be better off with a smaller wattage of motor. There's no concern about that whatsoever, unless you're into something, you're serious, and there's something that I don't know. But as far as I know, the 250 watt motors are as powerful as anything for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, well, I understand watts, but yeah, I always get a bit confused when it comes to things like volts and amps. I don't quite get all that stuff.
I think volts times amps equals your watts.
Yeah.
And I do get confused by that too. So
yeah. I
remember when I was getting my wire installed for my electric car charger, I kept saying, well, can this do this many watts? Can I have 2 cars here and have that? And he was like constantly calculating back into amps.
Right.
Electricians don't speak watts, they speak amps. And that was frustrating. I thought he was mocking me for a while, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, that leads us into our next topic, because I did want to talk about this. So I do have a home charger, a level 2 home charger for my car. And we've had, if nothing else, great solar power days. I've got solar panels on my roof, as do you. Mm-hmm. And it's been cold but sunny. So we've had really good solar power production the last couple of days.
It's been around freezing, if people are wondering. And I have seen at this time of year, if your roof temperature gets above 25 degrees Celsius, which is quite easy, you could do it with an air temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. You start to see the efficiency of the panels go down with warm weather as you go above 25 degrees. But it's not the air temperature, it's the panel itself, which is going to be hotter than the air temperature usually. But we have cold weather, and that's helping, right?
Yeah, and July is typically the best month for power, because the days are long, the sun is high, and tons of sunshine. But yeah, the heat will impede the efficiency. So even though we've still got kind of short days, I made 46 kilowatt hours yesterday, which was amazing.
And I think I made 22 and a half or something, and the most I've made is 26. So we're getting right up to, typically the most I make is 24 in the summertime. So that's getting kind of towards the max there. And I will say that my May is as good as my July on the first 2 years.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my system is different. So my July is still going to be the big month.
You have some panels facing west? Or east?
Some facing west, most of them facing south.
Okay. So you have a bit of a mixture, which is, it's hard to compare a system that is completely facing south to one that picks up sun late in the day, and you're going to have longer days that it's picking up that west sun. That'll make a difference.
Yeah, and you get better production in the winter than I do, but I get a lot more in the peak of the summer.
I think my panels are a bit more tilted than yours are, which is probably has something to do with my winter production as well. And I would love to have I would love to have a system on a farm or an acreage where it was perfectly set up where you could maybe switch them from winter, like on a
change the angle.
Yeah, not continuously, but just have some sort of device where you could manually go out and when you change your clocks and sort of change it to optimal winter. And then, because it would be such an angle for Saskatchewan where we are that the snow would actually fall off because it would practically be up and down.
Yeah, no, I would love to have a proper winter solar production. But here's what I did yesterday. The night before, I forgot to plug in my car to charge it. So I know. But so when we were having the peak of the sunshine yesterday and my system was making, over 6,000 watts of power, of solar power, I plugged in the car so I could, I don't know what the amps is, but I plugged in the car for 2 hours during the peak of the day just so that I could have basically pure sunshine going in to charge my car.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story, yeah.
Okay.
The charger...
Your system coughed and started on fire or something. Okay.
Yeah. No, it worked fine, but I was making about 6,000 watts. The charger takes about 7,000 watts. So technically it wasn't all completely charged with sunshine, but very close.
Right. And how much you charged it for 2 hours? How many kilometers did we get?
Yeah, about 100 kilometers in 2 hours.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're complaining about the cold weather taking juice out of your car, eh?
That is definitely true. And I'm looking at the forecast and it sounds like maybe in 2 more days, it's going to be not awful weather.
Such an optimist. So even you, this is what bothers me, is that even you, an expert EV, so much so that you have your own podcast, is seemingly disappointed and discouraged by the fact that cold weather has killed your range, even though you don't even need it.
Yeah, even though, and I know what I'm doing, but it's, in the best possible conditions, the car that I bought has 402 kilometers of range. But yeah, we all know that we do get those occasional days at minus 40. So I'm a little bit scared of those minus 40 days because, it'd be certainly better to have a 500 kilometer range or a bit more. But I don't know.
You're having pre-range anxiety.
Yeah, that's right.
But
I'm looking forward to the summer. Like it's going to be warm soon, and I won't have to think about it.
We have to plan these things for the winter. You cannot think, well, it's going to be fine in the summer, and then you get unhappy in the winter. Otherwise, people won't buy EVs. The people listening right now are getting discouraged and saying, well, I don't want an EV if Brian doesn't like one. So, deal with it. I've got 135 kilometers in the best case scenario, supposedly. Not truthfully, but the dash will say that.
And we're still waiting for more electric chargers to be built and installed, of course. So, sometimes we have to drive to northern Saskatchewan, like Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and there's currently no fast chargers there at all. So, it's coming soon, hopefully within maybe even by next winter.
So your anxiety is strictly to do with out-of-town trips, which you don't do every day.
Which I know.
How many would you say you guys take in a year?
We go to Saskatoon a lot, like, maybe 6 times a year.
Mm-hmm. Any other trips?
Well, and then, Prince Albert a couple of times a year and out to the lake and, hoping to go to places like Calgary and Vancouver and Winnipeg. But, that'd be once a year kind of thing.
So what you need to do, and you haven't supercharged yet, have you?
No, just the one test, yeah.
Okay. You got to do that. That's what you should have done when you found out you didn't plug in your car, is drive it around, drain the sucker, go to the supercharger and see what sort of rate of charge you get. Because we need that data, Brian. We need that for the people who are listening, who are counting on us to come up with that data. And for me, because I want to know.
Well, I will try and do that for you next week. My story for this week is charging on sunshine. That's all I got.
Well, I think it is quite remarkable to charge on sunshine. To think that you are driving around because some electrons were rearranged on a silicon panel on your roof, and they produce not a single bit of pollution doing that after the manufacture of the panels. And it's, I can outdo you there. My bike is solar powered. Hell.
Oh, yeah.
My laptop is solar powered. Hell, this broadcast is coming to you since it's now middle of the day and our solar panels are pumping out juice on a purely sunny day. This is a solar powered podcast, I'm dare to say.
Absolutely. My system's making about 6,000 watts right now, so we are good.
Yes. I'm using maybe 1,000.
Yeah. So, I've still been going out for neighborhood walks. That's my only entertainment right now in the pandemic. And yeah, I'm bored of my own neighborhood. So every morning I drive to a slightly different neighborhood and go for a walk. That's all I've been doing.
How early?
I go around 8.
Okay. I was worried you were going at 5:30 or something when the thieves are still out.
Oh, no.
Because you look at the Ring doorbell footage, it's all 4:35 in the morning.
Well, that brings us to the next topic, which is Sentry Mode on the Tesla, which we were talking about last week and the week before.
It's a mode that records people around your car automatically.
Yeah. And anyway, I got the new software update so that you can view the footage in the car. I figured out how that works. Like when you're in the car, there's various settings, and one of them is software update settings, and you can set it to normal or advanced. And if you set it to advanced, then you're basically getting the updates sooner. It's sort of like, you get the sort of beta version almost. So I had set it to normal when I first got the car because I thought, well, I don't want to be beta testing any software.
No, that's not me. I'm Brian Stockton. I got things to do.
I want it safe and reliable. But I was in the car the other day and I realized, well, wait a minute, I've got a podcast where I need things to talk about.
Jesus, man.
I went ahead and set it to...
We're in a schmuck right now. We're scientists here. we're studying things. You've got to be on this.
I got to be on this. So I did. I switched it to advanced, and then that night I got a notification that I could get a software update, and it was the one where you can watch the Sentry footage in the car. So I have that now, and I tested it out, and it works great. It's real fun.
How so?
Well, before, as we discussed, you had to take the little memory drive out of the car and into a computer to look at it. So now you go out, and in the morning, if your car says, there were 2 incidents recorded on Sentry Mode, you can just click the button on the screen and watch it and make sure that, no one was up to any funny business.
And has there been anybody up to funny business?
No. But should that ever happen, I think it will.
I think it will.
Well, we have had, I'm trying to think. Seems to me we did have a break-in once in one of our cars, but
people rummage through cars all the time.
Yeah, they're just looking for change and stuff.
My wife left her cell phone in her car once. This is before smartphones, and at our current location. One night, gone.
Yeah.
It only took one night for them kids to be looking in there. So, and it was just a little flip phone.
Yeah. So yeah, important never to leave anything in the car to tempt anybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I actually double checked my doors last night because I kept seeing on the news that break-ins in cars are up, or at least rummaging through. Everybody's posting their Ring video and low-cost security cam footage.
Yeah. But anyway, the other thing I've been doing is driving around using the adaptive cruise control, which is a lot of fun. So as long as there's a car in front of you, the car will completely take care of your speed for you. So right down to stopping at stoplights and taking off again. So that's been fun.
Do you know, we have that on our Prii, and it doesn't take off right away at the stop sign. There's this maybe a half-second lag, but it's enough to get honked at. It's not much, but that, come on, what's taking so long? So I don't use it. And also one time I almost killed us because it's not supposed to work that way. When I first had the car, if it's following a car and the car stops, that's fine. But what we were doing is coming into the city at 70 kilometer an hour zone or something. Then there was a stoplight. I kept expecting it to stop, and it didn't. And it came, emergency braking thing started flashing. I hit the brakes and screeched to a halt before killing us, me and my son, a few years ago. So yeah, just a word of warning. But I was expecting more than that because adaptive cruise control is passé now. I mean, what are you doing?
No, I know.
What are you doing with your autopilot?
Haven't really used it much. It's just for what I've been doing. For a highway trip, I would use it, but not too much point using it around the city.
Have you used it for a highway trip yet?
Just to test it, like just driving around on a bypass and testing it.
I see. And it worked okay? Or is it working better? Or is the lines too faint?
Yeah, it works. It steers by itself. It's, maybe not as smooth as I would like it to be, but of course that'll probably improve as time goes on.
Well, I would keep using it and see how it improves because you are a beta tester.
Yes.
A man of the people.
And we have a podcast.
Advancer.
And we need something to talk about.
Sure. Damn straight we do. Because I don't know what to talk about this week. Look at my list. This is not going to be a smooth transition.
I've got a few things here if you...
Okay. Well, I wanted to mention the Cybertruck.
Okay.
And this is something I've been wanting to mention. And also the radon detector.
Oh, yeah.
I have no updates on that, but I wanted to mention that I have no updates on that.
Okay.
Because people might have been wondering. And if it wasn't for a pandemic, I would be giving it back to you by now and been decided that it was safe. My house is safe.
Yeah.
I think, but it's still there going and giving similar readings for what it's worth. And now the Cybertruck, I've lost my interest in it. I gave a deposit of $150, a refundable, I hope, deposit of $150 Canadian. Yep. And now I don't have that desire. Well, not that it matters, because I'm still no closer to being able to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So it's funny how broke I am. Anyway, I bought it just in case. Just in case. All right.
Well, probably the Model Y is probably a better vehicle.
The Model Y is wonderful. And it has a towing capacity now of 3,500 pounds. That's now on the website as an option, which you can add for, I want to say $1,500 or something. So it's a tow hitch, it's the wiring, and hopefully they have the, like the camera will come on and it'll have a tow mode is what I'm saying, because the Model X has a tow mode. So I'm hoping that the Model Y will have a tow mode as well, which does a few extra things for you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, the towing capacity, because I know that you do tow a camper currently with an old SUV. So yeah, how does it look like to you in terms of its towing capacity?
Well, I think you need to get anecdotal evidence of how it's going, from real people. The people who tow are pretty gung-ho about towing. They know they're towing. I think that the range will take a huge, huge hit. But then, and I haven't calculated it, but the range in my old midsize SUV, gas-powered SUV, takes a hit too, like a big hit. And I'm filling up every hour and a half and putting oil in it, which is fun. Because if you run out of oil, you wrecked your engine and you're stranded there with a trailer, and there's nothing worse than that, I imagine. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. But I had a minivan once that claimed it was 3,500 pounds towing capacity. My trailer is 1,800 pounds without goo on it. But since we pack the kitchen sink and my fat ass and everyone else's fat ass in my family, we all go out and you have to count yourself. Everybody above 160 pound person counts towards your, that's true though, towards your hauling weight. And, with bikes and water and soft drinks and food and coolers and kayaks.
So I just got this picture of you driving down the highway at 100 kilometers an hour and just shouting out to the back seat, "Throw stuff out the window!"
Well, that's what I wish we would do. We always pack too much. Always. Always. There's more stuff being put in. Do we need this? No, we don't. So many. You know what I'm doing though? What? Because you need water. And water's heavy. And Yeah, I'm just basically not bringing the water anymore and getting set up and wherever we are. So even if it's Banff, I will take a trip into Canmore and get water and do it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's the thing about vehicles is that you can't go 80% more than what the stated towing capacity is in combustion vehicles with transmissions. And some people, like my brother-in-law, claim it's even lower than that. It's 60. So my guess, though, with Tesla is that it will actually be 3,500 pounds. That they will, because you're not going to have a transmission that's going to overheat, and it's probably more about the suspension than anything, just being able to hold up that tongue weight of the trailer. Which, if you have the air suspension, would be a sweet addition. But it probably won't. The Cybertruck will, though. So I'm just wondering, the Cybertruck vis the Model Y small SUVs, they're not that far apart in price, are they? Do you remember?
Yeah, they're going to be a pretty similar starting price, I think. Yeah.
So, yeah, if you wanted to tow something, you should probably get the Cybertruck, which is 1,100 pounds, I believe.
11,000.
Yeah, pardon me, 11,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is, as far as a homebody is concerned, a recreational RV or a Tom Selleck of the North that I am, that's more than anything you could put ATVs on there and a boat behind your trailer. Like there's really no limit to what you could do, I don't think.
So now, do you know anything about sort of retrofit or third-party towing options? Because I've got the Model 3. It does not have a towing option from Tesla. And I wouldn't want to tow anything, but I might want to put bikes on the back.
Yeah, it's very disappointing that they won't at least let you do that.
In Europe, there's a tow option for the Model 3, but not in North America.
So I think etrailers.com has one, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And a lot of people have done it. A lot of people have done it themselves, by the way, which scares me. It mostly scares me on a new car because you have to cut plastic on the bottom invariably.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of that.
But yeah, somebody else will have to do that, I think. So you have to, there's a question of, the short answer is I don't know. I'm pretty sure people have been doing it. In fact, I think they've been towing actual, U-Haul trailers for people who, they don't want to miss out on the once a year that they use a truck. So they rent a U-Haul trailer and for $20 in the States. And then which is a lot cheaper than maintaining a truck for a year. Yeah. And they just haul home their appliances, or they go to the landfill or whatever carcass disposal they have to do.
Well, apparently the Model 3 tow hitch option that they have available in Europe is a capacity of 2,000 pounds.
2,000 pounds, which would be a good utility trailer and certainly enough for your bikes, even e-bikes.
Yeah, it's just, do you trust a third-party option, or do I trust anyone around here to install it?
Yeah. You see, U-Haul is one of the main people who install hitches here, and they can get any hitch and do it for a good price. But like we were talking about last week, some of the people who work in these jobs are just out of jail, and they're not reliable. Like I've spent hours in a U-Haul trying to get answers, and and you're sitting in a sweaty line waiting for angry people who are trying to move. And I don't know. So with the Tesla, I think that there's one place in Regina that does electric cars. What is it? What's it called? It's a brand name place that's supposed to be getting up certified in electric vehicles. Okay. I don't know. What's it called?
I don't know.
Our friend was trying to get it certified, and it's on 7th or 8th Avenue in Regina, for what it's worth. It's not Midas, it's something else, one of the other places.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, But
I was just thinking about that as an option for hauling bikes, maybe putting in a trailer hitch. But I also looked at some videos and I realized I can actually fit a bike in the back of the Model 3. If you fold the seats down, you can fit a bike in there. It goes through to the back seat area, And if you take the front wheel off, you could actually even have 3 adults and still fit a bike into the Model 3, which I thought was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It gets ugly because there's grease involved. Chain grease and stuff, and that stuff is hard to get off. So yeah, plastic, especially when you have a nice car like the Model 3, plastic, everything, for God's sake, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's maybe I don't need a folding bike like I was thinking, and maybe just stuff it in the back there. Of course, not if I have to take the whole family, but.
So the situation is you go to the cottage and you want a bike there.
Well, that's one of the situations, but if I visit Calgary or Vancouver or Winnipeg, it would be nice to have a bike there.
You would
as
actually
well.
haul them behind you because that would cut down on your range quite a bit.
Yeah, it would hurt the range. Yeah, but it's a possibility. I don't know. Have you seen the electric unicycles? I
just saw something about that. There's a really powerful one out now.
Yeah, Electrek had a story this week about it's called the InMotion version 11, 2,000 watt power rating. I don't know how many amps, but up to 50 kilometers an hour. And it's a unicycle, and you stand on it and you ride it, just like those wheels in the comic strip BC.
Right. Yeah, I can't get over the fact that riding a unicycle at road speed is not one of the more dangerous things that I can think of. How do you even brake? I mean, my God, that's 50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles an hour. It's just... I just like it because it's, like I say, it's like those wheels in the BC comic strip. It's finally come to be. Well, congratulations on that. But I all I can picture is how I would die on one and what building would I splat myself into. And would you fall over? Oh my God. It's horrible. The image horrifies me.
No, and just learning how to ride it takes a couple hours as well.
Sure.
So that you can just get on it without falling off.
Yeah. It takes off underneath you. Goes through a storefront. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think I want one, but it sure is cool to look at.
I am dying for a lukewarm room temperature day to ride my electric bike because I have not really fully got into it yet.
I'm telling you, Friday is the day. 2 more days.
Well, that's going to be a great show next week because I'll have a nice report of what it was like.
Although it sounds like it's cloudy and maybe it'll rain too.
Oh, well, fuck. That's no good.
Well, we'll see. We should get at least one decent day by next week's episode.
But the e-bike is fun. I mean, you get on it and you pedal and suddenly you're like Superman. It's just it's I don't know. I've been using it on the high levels and going fast. Of course, the drawback at this time of year when it's 0 degrees out, you get even colder because you're going so fast. So it's just, it sucks. But yeah, I look forward to a very pleasant day and going for a long way and maybe not being pandemic limited to where I can go. So
last summer we were in Calgary and they have the Lime electric scooters in Calgary. So I have tried those, the electric scooters.
Really? I'm jealous.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
See, I wanted to try one in California, but my daughter is obsessed with them. And they won't let you ride one if you're under a certain age. I forget what it is. It might be 18.
Yep.
And she couldn't do it, so I couldn't do it. So I really wanted to.
You know that there's no cops around to stop you, right?
Really?
I mean, really? Is somebody going to stop you?
Yes. People have been stopped.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I didn't want her to. It was California, too. You don't know my daughter. She would take off for like 28 kilometers, and I'd have to go to Malibu to pick her up.
And you didn't want her to end up in a U.S. prison?
No. She'd be sent to Guantanamo or Mexico. I don't know which is worse for Americans to be sent somewhere to a...
Well, you're a good parent. Good for you.
Well, I don't know. That's debatable.
But yeah, the Lime scooters, it was tons of fun. They go pretty fast.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Those are getting even better too, aren't they?
Oh yeah, always improve. I mean, the electric scooters that are available. I'm not an expert or anything, but Yeah, they get more powerful and longer range every day. It's amazing.
I just got a drink out of my fridge. You know what's in there?
What?
I got a bar fridge upstairs in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Milk. We had to stock up on milk because my kids are like baby cows. They go through gallons of milk. And we can't go to the grocery store every day. So, although
we just bought 8 liters of milk.
Really? Well,
yep.
That's not much. I think we bought twice that or more.
Wow.
Yeah.
You remember when milk used to come in bags?
Briefly, I didn't care for it. It still does in
I
Ontario.
loved it. In Ontario, you can still get it, and you can just throw those bags in the freezer and freeze them. It's the best.
Yeah. Does it come back milk-like, though? Or is it like
it's
tap
perfect.
water?
It's perfect.
I don't believe you.
You're wrong. It's perfect.
So if I
milk in bags is the best.
If I took a plastic carton of milk and put it in the freezer and then unfroze it would come back as milk and not solids. And
you could freeze it.
Not solids and water.
Be perfectly fine.
How is this news to me? Is there anyone in Ontario listening who can verify this? I need to get this verified.
I used to do it all the time.
Why?
Well, at the time I did it because we would buy 4 liters of milk and not need 4 liters of milk. So you just throw a couple of them in the freezer and then just take them out when you need them.
All right.
The day before so that they can, de-thaw.
Oh, the day before. And you left them in the fridge or on your counter?
I believe we defrosted them in the fridge.
Sounds controversial. I'm not convinced. Well, Brian, Minnesota is looking at becoming a zero-emission vehicle state.
Fantastic.
And I had to open my window because it's getting incredibly hot in here. And, of course, my neighbors, who like to scream at the top of their lungs, they have zero and scream as their 2 volume levels, are outside playing. Can you hear them? I'll have to get rights clearances signed by them for the podcast. Anyway, the point is that in a lot of negative news, such as low gas prices, which is probably not the best for the transition, the thing that we cover our whole existence of our podcast is for covering the transition to clean energy. Ultra low oil prices, and by the way, it was 67 cents a liter last night somewhere in Regina where I was driving.
Wow.
So Minnesota is looking to become another one of those states. I think there's 10 or 11 states. There's California and Washington State and some in the East as well. New York is one of them. And basically they cover a third of the U.S. population. And it looks like the other states that are thinking about joining would make up 50% of the population. And Minnesota looks like it's the first one to get there. I believe New Mexico is also one of the ones that's going to be falling in line. So in spite of the Trump and the federal government mandates to get rid of EPA rulings and, bring back coal and subsidize it so that it can pollute our air and kill more people during the COVID, I think the states, unless they lose a legal battle, will have the upper hand in this, and we will see more EVs sold. But as I've said last week and the week before, Brian, I'm discouraged. I'm discouraged by the way things are going. Tesla has got things under control. They are doing an excellent job, but there should be everyone else by now. And I know the Mustang SUV is coming out by Ford in the fall still. Some other things are delayed, but it's just not where we're supposed to be. There, I said it.
No. And there was a news story about the Hyundai plant in the Czech Republic that makes the Kona EV. It's about to start opening back up again. So they're going to make 30,000 Kona EVs per year at this plant, and it's about to get rolling again. So that's a good sign. I think Hyundai could sell, even more of those if they could make more of them.
Are they really going to make that many, though? Because they're not selling very many.
That's what it says. Anticipated production of 30,000 Kona EVs per year, which is what they need to do because they have not been making enough of them.
Well, stay with us. We're going to cover this on the Twitter. On Twitter, we are CLN Energy Show. And Gmail is cleanenergyshow@gmail.com. We always like to hear from you. SpeakPipe, that is speakpipe.com/cleanenergyshow. You can push a button on your laptop, on your phone, and leave us a message. And God, we like them. And if you know anything about frozen milk, I need to verify this. We need verifiable facts. I can't take Brian's word for it because, frankly, he does a lot of acid. Probably on right now. It could be a flashback. He could be confused. We need to verify that information.
All right, and I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye for now. I'm James Whittingham, COVIDing until I die.